You out there, you may be smart, but Charlie is always right. As a quick disclaimer, guys, none of what I say should be taken as financial advice. This is purely educational.
Hey guys, if you're interested in building a 6 to 7 figure portfolio using the power of stock investing, head over to the comment section or the description to sign up for our free masterclass so that we share with you exactly how we do it.
Okay, MJ. So today we're going to be talking about Charlie Munger's.
Yes.
He's basically his philosophy on investing and also intelligence, and his journey of being a great investor. And I believe this year he's 99 years old.
Yeah, so he is about a year, I think, older than Toon M. So he's of that generation.
Right. And yeah, he's similar to Toon M. He also look as healthy as ever.
Yeah,
he still can
very active.
Yeah, he still have a very active mind. Still can like joke around. And if you don't know about him, he's actually the a lot of people call him the sidekick of Warren Buffett.
Yeah, actually, it's more like the
opposite,
the right hand, like
right hand man.
Yeah, in a way, but it doesn't feel like one is bigger than the other. Yeah, one is richer than the other. Yes,
yeah.
It doesn't feel like.
But I believe the reason why he is not so rich as compared to Buffett, I think because he donates, right, a lot of money.
No, so the reason he's not as rich is because it might surprise you, like at 31 years old, he was broke.
Okay.
Right. He had just lost his son. He just got divorced.
Yeah.
So he had to start from scratch. So that's why he was a little bit behind. And he's also 7 years older than Buffett. So it's a bit hard. Whereas Buffett started since he was a kid. So all that small little differences, add up.
Right. But still quite surprised that Buffett look up to Charlie Munger.
Oh yeah. I think all of us do.
Yes.
And in fact, Buffett says that he has the best 30-second mind in the world.
Yeah, his mental model is crazy, right? Yeah. Okay, so this is basically the principle that we can learn from Charlie Munger. So what he always says is that you just spend each day trying to be a little smarter than you were when you woke up, just a 1% better each day. And this is the math that I actually just Google it. And if you want to be like, let's say 1% better each day, right? You actually compile every single day. Basically your growth will be around 37.78. Let's just call it percent lah. You'll be 37.78% at the end of that year. That's your gain, all right? But if let's say you remain status quo, right, you still be at 1 lah. Yeah, it won't change. But if you're 1% worse each day, you're unlearning every single day, right? Then after that 1 year, your knowledge will be like 0.03.
Yeah, it's big, right? Like one becomes 30, nearly 38. Then the other one is the same, and then the last one is you drop your value by 97%.
It's just like purposely becoming dumber and dumber. But basically what he's trying to say is that maybe just learn something new every single day, gain some little bit knowledge of here and there, try to learn something new lah. And just to feed your brain a little bit. And that's how you, maybe who knows, maybe that's a secret to become to have a long, healthy lifestyle, right? Or even like how to.
And a lot of it is to do with reading.
Yes.
So, reading is I don't want to say it's dying, but it's really not what it used to be. I think with a lot of stimulus that we have today, like, videos and all that, right?
Especially those short-term, very short
TikTok and all that.
Yeah.
Like, read a book, it's like,
it's like dinosaur. How are you?
And also like imaginations, I would argue, starting to form. Because in the past, if you only had a book on words, right, then you start to imagine. Right? When we were young, a lot younger, 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, I love
you
to
talk to your friends, you imagine, things like that.
I used to like read a lot of Mr. Midnight, Goosebumps. Yeah, those ones.
So you have to imagine, right?
Yeah.
So you're working your brain away. But now you just watch, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the first point. And the second one is your competency. And this is a lot of his comments. So he said that he thinks that part of why Berkshire Hathaway is so popular is because people think that they found the magic trick to beat the market, but actually it's just to avoid stupidity. And he also joked around with these two comments, right? So he said that what he needs to get ahead of his competition is because he's actually competing with idiots. And thank God there's like a large supply of Yeah. And the last one, he also got said that if people weren't so often wrong, they wouldn't be so rich.
Yeah. So what Munger is focusing a lot is it's really not an intellectual advantage. It's a behavioral advantage. So like say entrepreneurs, they want to start something new. You know, maybe people in our space content, they want something new. They want to express themselves. They want to do something other people are not doing.
Original.
Or maybe original, you know. Or, you know, in the stock market, people want to make money in the most complicated fashion, you know. Because not only do you make money, but then people, after you make the trade, people clap like, oh, you know, you know. So, but Munger's approach is very simple. He just looks in history all the sort of mistakes that someone could make. And he says, I don't do that.
Yeah.
Right? That's it.
Yeah.
And once you eliminate the vast majority of mistakes, what's left? Right? Things that don't do much or things that go very well.
Yeah.
But things that are bad, you know, not quite that.
Yeah, this is something similar concept to margin of safety lah. I mean, you take care of all of the downside already.
Yes, in a way.
Yeah, then what's left is that you it's just an upside only lah. It's just how much you can make up from it.
Yeah, so it's something everybody can do. Right? Self-knowledge, for example, very important as well.
Right. Okay, so the top point we have here is simplicity. And yeah, basically he said that simplicity is a way of improving performance, and it has enabled them to better understand of what they do. So in our own words, right, it is, if you can explain a certain business or anything, maybe or even your profession to a 12-year-old, right, you actually know your stuff.
Yeah, so this is something that we teach a lot in our SIB program. One of the key things is, are you able to explain that business to a 12-year-old?
Yeah.
Now, the whole idea here is that you're trying to see, can you distill all that you've learned into a proper structure? That's it. And this is important because if you can't even get a grasp of this, when you start seeing your stock going up and down, then straight away you don't have firm ground to stand on.
Yes.
Right. And to add to this, simplicity is important simply because people don't want to be simple in that sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Charlie Munger said in the interview before, right? He said that why is our business schools and all that teaching so many different things?
So many formulas, right?
Yeah, and why is it so complicated? He said that because if they really taught what method, what would they teach for the rest of the semester?
Yeah.
They would just spend 2 weeks teaching the theory.
Yeah.
And then the rest is like, exactly. We're gone, right? But it doesn't justify the price that people pay for the degree, right?
Yeah. I remember he got say also that, I mean, he was joking around. He said, if you want to learn what sort of formula to use, right, to evaluate stocks, right, then you just say, just go back to your grade school. That's where you learn a bunch of formulas.
Yes, so that is right. That's why in terms of understanding all the Greek alphabets that you have to do, doing that versus just reading 10 or 15 companies in, let's say, the retail space. Just looking at the numbers, you know, the margin, all that. The second method will likely improve yourself, that 1% that we talk about much faster, you know. And all of those numbers only require plus minus times divide, right? It helps to think in ratios. It helps to understand your percentages. But outside of those, you don't need anything else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And in fact, Charlie Munger, I just saw this. He said that even something like a graph can be overcomplicated. He said graphs were created to kind of trick our brains, to make things like easy to see the data. We look at nice lines up, down, like that. But you don't do the work of actually looking into the reasons why they move.
Right.
And whether or not they move bigger, you know. We like that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think simplicity is really, really important. But of course, don't oversimplify, right? Don't.
Yeah. Oversimplify also. I mean, if you go towards both end of spectrum, right? I mean, it's never good lah. So you need to just find the balance.
But guys, before we move on, if you're someone looking to level up their stock investing skills and you need a lot more guidance, we do have a one-on-one program called the Mentorship Program. If you're interested, you can apply it in the comment section or the description.
All right. The fourth point we have here is patience. So he said that the big money is not through buying and selling, but in the waiting. I believe this is very true. And if you can see one of his major stock holding, Costco Wholesale Corporation. So he actually got into the board of directors in this company in 1997. So if you imagine that he have shares or bought shares during that time, right, he actually made more than 33x his wealth over the years, and just by holding this one stock.
Yes.
Yeah. And I believe, I'm not sure whether this is the one of the major contributor to his wealth. Maybe it's just one of the big one.
Yes.
But yeah, so that is how you actually make a big bucks. You just have to wait. You need to hold to the right company and just wait. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is very true. However, some context needed which is that you actually need to know whether the thing is worth waiting for.
Yes.
That's always the hardest part about investing. Right? Obviously he has found Costco, and the reason he's found Costco is because he did all his research. Right? And he bet where his money, and he follows it over time. So the waiting doesn't mean just waiting, folding your arms and all that, but to actually track the thing year on year, year on year.
Whether are they delivering the numbers,
That's right.
that everything is going all right. All right. So the fifth point we have here is invert. Now this is very interesting. He said that he have to always invert and turn a basically reverse a problem and look at it backwards. So he gave this example, which is pretty interesting. So when he was a meteorologist during World War II, right? He was given an assignment where he basically need to find the right time for the pilots to fly during what sort of weather. So he reversed the problem and he just say that, okay, if let's say I want to kill all of these pilots, right? What would be the easiest way to do? Yeah, so he give a few scenarios. Maybe have them travel for a very long distance and find an area where they will run out of fuel before they actually land, or find an area that will actually ice the plane, or basically freeze the plane so that they cannot function. So yeah, he reversed the problem, and from there he finds solutions. Yeah.
So this is the same concept of so I'll use sports for example. The question is not how to be a good player. The question is how to avoid being a bad player. And especially in amateur, the graduation from amateur sport to pro sport is all about reducing unforced errors. So in tennis, 90% of points lost is a result of unforced errors, right? It's not that the other person's shot is so good, but it's that your own shots that you're supposed to do well, you don't do it well, right? We play badminton, it's the same thing.
You just need to make as less mistakes as possible. That's it.
You reduce the mistake. So, but you can only come to that mindset if you ask, how do I not be a bad player? Which is very different, right? Usually people, how can I be a good player? How can I smash like Li Zijia? How do I, why not ask, how can you not smash like an amateur? So what are the amateur mistakes? Well, amateur mistakes are, they don't lazy with their footwork, or they don't pull the racket far enough, or they don't use, things like that. So once you know that, okay, I won't do this. No this, no that, no. So invert, right? It's a negative term. So no this, no. So imagine if you're in investing, let's say, right? If you invert, you don't say what's a good company, you say what's a bad company. You're like, okay, so what's a bad company? Companies that have a lot of debt. Company that's no cash flow.
Low return on investor capital.
Blah, 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 blah. So then once these aspects are in a company that you're looking at, avoid. For sure, some you will miss out, right? You didn't see it properly, but you remove what's left.
You'll be surprised 80 to 90% of the companies are all quite bad. It's only those 10%, and you just focus on the 10% and you'll do good. All right, so the sixth one is to avoid mistakes.
Which is what we were talking about, right?
I mean, for the few points, it's kind of relate to each other. So the difference between a good business and bad business is that the good business will actually throw up one easy decision after another, And basically he said that if you can actually destroy an idea, especially those high conviction idea that you have in the past, right? It is actually the most valuable qualities you can acquire. Yeah, which is to not get emotionally attached to a certain thing. When the time is when it's time to dispose, right? That's why you have to cut lah.
Yeah. So one of the things it's very important, I feel, is that whenever you have an investment, either seek out someone who disagree with you, or seek out someone to purposely disagree with you, and then also ask yourself, what will make me wrong? What are the things that will make me wrong? And this is not just like an investing tip that you can have to check out whether the person is someone who is reasonable. You can actually test this on anything. One of my favorite questions, right? Let's say politics is a classic example, because very often what Charlie Munger is talking about, right, are people who are stuck to a particular idea. Let's say, I don't know, taxing the rich, very important. Things like that. And they tend not to let go of it, right? One of the questions I always ask is, if let's say someone disagrees with me, I always ask them, like, look, let's say taxing the rich, right? You say that that's how you would, that's good for the economy. I just have to ask, if taxing the rich meant that they all go away and you get even lower taxes, will you change your opinion? I'm not saying that is the case. I'm just saying if that was the case. Not everyone will say yes. They'll be like, they have to think very hard. But the person who is reasonable, who actually wants to get to the solution, will be like, yeah, if taxing the rich doesn't actually bring in more tax revenues, which means we cannot redistribute the money to the less fortunate, then I'll get rid of it. I will agree to not have very high taxes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So this is one of the best tests, right? It's like, if X were true, will you change your mind? And you'll be surprised. People don't actually. They'll be like, right? You can do this to all the spotters, right? You ask them, if PH was looking out for, let's say, Malay interests, and they don't have a liberal agenda. You ask a past supporter, will you vote for PH, or will you change your mind on them? A lot of them won't say. And it's the same way if you ask, the people, what if the concerns, right, of people in the rural area is legitimate, and that maybe it's true that your liberal agenda puts them at a disadvantage. Will you change your mind? You see?
Yeah.
So again, I highly recommend. This is not financial advice, so I can recommend, but this is it's a very good life trick. Ask them, and then what that helps you do also is that will make you recognize whether it's worth engaging in the conversation. For example, if you think this stock is good, and I think this stock is bad, and then I say, I keep saying, hey, here are some of the issues, and then you keep rebutting, say not bad. Then when I say, look, what if the company management is found to be fraudulent, will you change your mind on the company? And if the guy says no, or if he's like half and half, what's the point in engaging the conversation?
Yeah.
He started with the attitude of, my mind will not change.
Yeah, exactly.
So why are you now getting sucked into that? Then you're like, move on.
Yeah, he's trying to block lah.
You already blocked already, so what's the point in discussing? But if your girlfriend thinks you're cheating on her, then it's like, if you've got evidence to show that I didn't cheat on you, and got eyewitnesses, will you change your mind? They don't want, they still insist. I'm like, okay lah. Then I cheat in your head, what to do?
Right.
What am I gonna do, right?
Pro tip.
Alright guys, enjoying the video so far? If the answer is yes, remember, like, comment, subscribe. And as far as comments go, if you don't like the video, do let us know as well. We always take all sorts of feedback, as long as they're constructive.
Okay. All right. The last point we have here is actually about predictions or macro predictions. So he says that if you're not a little confused by what's going on, you are basically not paying attention. And also, I believe this last quote is actually from Warren Buffett. Yeah. He said that the best we can do is recognize that we don't know and proceed in a way that we can get decent results no matter what. happens.
Yeah, so I'll share with you. Okay, the first thing is, I think if you watch previous videos, you know that we do believe macro has some value.
Yeah.
And it's worth learning about. At the end of the day, it contributes to that 1% growth, right? Learning about interest rates, learning about fund flows, learning about GDPs, whatever, right? It's going to only add to your knowledge. But as far as actionable insights, you need to be very, very clear. So let me share a mistake, right? Or what happens when you think about macro too much. So one of the mistakes that I read, I actually put in a tweet that my mistake was thinking that you should make your investments based on the interest rates at that point in time. So at a point in time, call it 0.25%, right? So I thought, look, if I buy a company that yields me 2%, that's 10 times more than this. Therefore, it's going to be a better investment. So 50 times earnings, right? 2%. But what I should be doing again is to not make this sort of prediction, because whether I say or not, I've made a prediction that going forward, the interest rates will be at that point, right? It will be at that level. But of course, I wasn't aware that I was making that prediction. So what I should have done is to actually assume that interest rates will actually go up. Or rather, instead of using 2.25% as my benchmark, I should have been using maybe 3% or 4% as my benchmark, because that's probably the historical interest rates. So this is what happens when you A, don't understand macro, and then B, make these sort of predictions. Now, where Buffett and Munger is coming from as well is that people spend too much time on the unknowables. Will Jerome Powell raise interest rates?
Right.
Or worse still, like I did, was I confidently assume that Jerome Powell will not raise interest rates, or at that point in time, Janet Yellen. So don't make these predictions implicit or explicit. I was making it implicit. I wasn't aware. So it makes it worse, right? Because if I say it out loud that I don't, that's a bit better.
I mean, macro aside, right? I mean, it's the same as stocks price predictions also, right? I mean, I believe there's a lot of people who likes to say that I know that tomorrow is going to go up 10%, 20%.
Yeah, exactly.
But if the legendary investor don't know what's the stock price going to be traded tomorrow, I mean, what will you know, right?
Exactly.
So that's actually basically the last point that we have over here. And before you guys go, this is the FIRL Pro stock performance, and the February 2023's one has been doing pretty well.
March won't be as good, yeah.
Yes, March won't be as good. And if you want a short-term kind of trading or even portfolio, we have it in our Telegram stock performance, and so far it has been doing pretty well as well. And if you want to check out more of these content, there's actually a free sample for you to have a look. The links to access this free sample is in the description and comments. MJ, any last comment?
Nope, all good, guys. Thanks for staying all the way until the end. Come watch some of our other videos. Go pinch on them, help with the algorithm, and looking forward to seeing you in the next video.